Republican Leader.
Mr. President, with gas prices on the rise, Americans want to know what Washington is going to do about it. So let me provide a little update. The White House has responded by locking up domestic energy supplies and pushing an energy tax that will drive gas prices up even higher. And Democrats in Congress aren't doing anything at all. So we've got a total disconnect right now between Democrats in Washington when it comes to gas prices. Both the White House and Democrats in Congress are acting like they haven't seen a nightly newscast or driven by a gas station in weeks. Senator Inhofe, Senator Murkowski, and Senator Barrasso have done a terrific job of raising the alarm on the administration's efforts to lock up domestic energy, even as it continues to push costly new regulations at the Environmental Protection Agency. I want to commend them for their efforts on this most important and timely issue. They've shown how American families are getting a double whammy right now. Refiners would pass the costs related to these regulations on to consumers, and the White House efforts to lock up domestic energy production puts even more pressure on gas prices. If you're just tuning in, let's review what the White House has been up to on that front. They've resisted our push for American production offshore, onshore, and in Alaska, and the jobs that go along with it. They've canceled existing drilling permits and the jobs that come with them. They've needlessly delayed offshore leases, which even former President Clinton has referred to as ridiculous. They've imposed a moratorium on oil and gas drilling, which amounts to a moratorium on domestic energy-related jobs. They've proposed a tax on domestic energy production, might be called a minivan tax. And now they're trying to impose a backdoor national energy tax through the EPA. It's a strange way to respond to rising gas prices, but it's perfectly consistent with the current Energy Secretary's previously stated desire to get gas prices here in the U.S. up to where they are in Europe. These new regulations would destroy jobs at a time when Americans need them the most, and they'd be especially devastating for states like Kentucky and other coal states. EPA regulations resulting in dramatic energy price increases would jeopardize the livelihoods of the 18,000 miners in Kentucky and the additional 200,000 jobs that depend on coal production and the low cost of electricity that Kentuckians enjoy. They'd raise the price of everything from electricity, gasoline, fertilizer, to the food we eat, and that's why farmers, builders, manufacturers, small businesses, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce oppose them and support an effort to stop them. But the White House is determined to get its way, and that's why they're attempting to do through regulation what they couldn't do through legislation, regardless of whether the American people want it or not. In my view, it's an insult to the millions of Americans who are already struggling to make ends meet to find a job. 14 million Americans are looking for work. Gas prices are approaching $4 a gallon. And the Obama administration wants unelected and unaccountable bureaucrats to impose new regulations that will destroy even more jobs and drive gas prices even higher. If you want proof that common sense is taking a back seat to ideology in the White House, look no further. This plan is bad for jobs and bad for the economy, and it must be stopped. And that's why at the end of my remarks, I'll be introducing an amendment to block it. In an effort to prevent the administration from adding yet another burdensome, job-destroying regulation through the back door, we'll have a vote on whether, at a time of rising gas prices and growing concern about the scope of government, we should allow the White House to impose new energy regulations through the EPA. This vote is needed because the White House appears ready to advance its goal by any means possible, regardless of our economy or the will of the people. And that's why it's my hope that we'll vote to stop this power grab in its tracks. Now, Mr. President, I want to in particular give credit to Senator Inhofe. This is legislation that he has introduced.